Hey everybody, I want to welcome you guys back to Embracing the Journey podcast, hosted by Norris Frederick. That's me. Today, I got something special for you guys. I have a person that was a first-round draft pick in the NFL, a 10-year professional for the Seattle Seahawks, a Pro Bowler, All-Pro honors, Hall of Famer at Washington State University, has his own charity, the Marcus Trufant Family Foundation, and also the creator and co-host of Truly Unruly podcast. I want to introduce everybody to Marcus Trufant. How we doing today, man?
We doing well, my brother. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm just trying to catch up to you.
Okay.
I had to take a deep breath to get through that. Come on.
NFL draft, Seattle Seahawks select Marcus Trufant.
Hey, so I know you're in the podcasting space. I know you got a lot going on. And I first want to say, we appreciate you coming through. But secondly, man, what does it take to play in the NFL for 10 years, to be a Hall of Famer, to have the Pro Bowl experience, to have the All-Pro honors? Walk me through this, man. I'm a fan.
Okay. Well, yeah. First, I would like to say I appreciate y'all for having me, of course, man. That's big, man. I feel like I made it. I have arrived, man.
Hey.
I made it to the Norris Fredericks podcast, right?
Hey.
Yeah. So, yeah, just playing in the league, the mentality, it starts with blocking out the noise, right? You got fans, you got ESPNs of the world, all these sports shows. Everybody knows exactly what you should be doing it, how you should be doing it, but in most situations, they can't do it themselves. So they're not willing to do it themselves. They don't have the heart to do it. So you got to go internal. I know for me, I did a lot of self-talk. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people may think that's crazy, or you can kind of drive yourself crazy to the madhouse or whatever you want to say, but you got to have that inner self-talk, that inner cocky to a certain point, just to be able to block out everything, because there's so much negativity that comes your way. Okay, for me personally, people don't play football in Washington. You go to these camps and these all-star games, there's people in Texas, Florida, California, all that kind of stuff. I was born and raised in Tacoma, Washington, and I do play football, right?
Right.
So it's just little things like that. It's always something that's going to be coming your way to tell you can't do it, or something that's going to be a roadblock there that you got to overcome. And if you kind of listen to all the outside filth, it can definitely stop you in your tracks. So that's one of the most important parts I know for me, but there's so much other stuff, right?
Right. So your demeanor, the times that I've been around you, your demeanor, you're like mellow. How does one get your like athletic accolades with such a mellow, personality or mellow persona? Like, how does that translate? Are you a whole different person on the field?
I call it the quiet storm, right? For me, chill, real laid back. That's just kind of how I grew up, man. I get that from my pops, and my pops, God rest his soul, I passed a couple years ago, but his nickname was Chill, right? Real chill, real cool 70s cat. And you got a picture like the bell bottoms and the platforms and stuff,
Right.
bass guitar, all of that. So I'm real chill, but until I get on the field in the competitive nature, I'm one of those guys that flips a switch, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't go on the field. I didn't talk a lot of trash. I didn't do all that. I've always let the pads on my game speak for itself. But when I got on the field, I was able to have this release and was able to do things you can't do, at recess, right? You can inflict physical pain and people cheer you on, right?
Right.
So it's one of those things to where you could just release. I didn't care if I was having a bad day at school. I didn't get the grade I wanted. My parents is getting on my nerves, all these different type of things. You go through the ups and downs, maybe with your girlfriend or something like that. And I'm talking about like just a younger me, right? You're trying to figure yourself out, and sports was my outlet. Mm-hmm. So I would go out there and I was just able to release, man. I was always a guy that could be fast. I could jump. I could, catch, all that kind of stuff. And you put that together, and you are doing it with people that you like, your friends. It's just another way to be active and to feel like you're part of something. And you get that release, man. And I really enjoyed it. Just the competitive side of it as well, being like a real chill, kind of laid back guy. Most of the time feeling like people didn't not so much respect what I had to bring to the table, but I was unassuming. I had that underdog feel. Okay, y'all don't think I can do it, or you don't think I'm going to show out? All right, I'm going to show y'all exactly what it's about.
See, so like that whole mindset that you spoke about right there, do you see that in modern day athletes? I know you do a lot in the community. You talk, you make appearances and things like that. And just briefly talking to you in the other room, when you see these high school athletes now, or even the college athletes now, what is the gap between a high school football player to a college football player to a professional football player? What's the gap in mentality?
So for one, I think the kids nowadays are really locked in and block out the noise just because of social media, right? The access that everybody has to these kids, and that's good or bad, right? It's they can reach you from across the planet. It wasn't like that for us, right? So if I went out and I had a bad game Friday night in high school, cool, okay, the people at my school and maybe a couple people around the neighborhood or the community might be talking trash, but now you got
grown men talking to
grown
kids.
men and people all around the world, especially if you're a guy that's ranked and all this kind of stuff, you're at the top of the magazine. So certain types of individuals and players, they really have to be locked in. But just those levels of going from high school, it's a different mentality because the gap narrows as far as who's trash and who's good, right?
Right.
So when you're in high school, there's a big gap. There's guys that are playing on the team that are never going to play another down of football, basketball, track, anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to college, that gap narrows a little bit more. So you have to be okay with not being so far in front of people, right? And some people can't handle that. All right, if I'm not the best, I'm not always getting the ball. Okay, I'm a guy, and maybe I got moved to the other side of the ball, or maybe I was playing point guard and now I'm playing the two, right? Things happening. Can you handle that? And can you handle that pressure and knowing that somebody's on your heel? And in most cases, a lot of people are just as good as you. But then when you get to the league, it is that. Everybody is very close. There are some people that separate themselves, right? You got the Tom Brady's of the world. You got Deion Sanders and all that kind of stuff. But the gap is so small. And if you can't handle that pressure, or you don't have that self-talk, or you have that doubt that creeps in, I used to call it people going in the tank, right? And you go into this kind of like a self-depression to where you don't see yourself at, you don't see yourself in the light that other people may see you at or think that you should be at, right? You're starting to make excuses. You're doing all these different things instead of just being confident in yourself and pushing through and maybe doing some extra reps or doing some extra film, doing extra to be the best you, right? It's not about everybody else and what they can do and how close everybody is in talent. It's just about being the best you and putting your best foot forward.
Love that. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Different.
Weird.
Quiet.
Mighty. Unstoppable.
Incredible.
What makes you different makes you great.
Embrace your punch.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So check this out. We did some research, and we saw that you have brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of which have had time in the NFL. What does that mean to you and to your family? Did you feel any added pressure? What is that family dynamic like?
For us, it was just like being in the house, being in the backyard, right?
Yeah.
Playing tag or playing basketball on a summer day, and it really wasn't something that we talked about as boys. Okay, I'm going to the NFL and we're going to do all this stuff. All of us were always just good. So we just wanted to be good for our teams and be good in our grades and just go out and ball, man. And the funny thing about it, like still to this day, we kind of push that to the side. It's not so much a big deal. It's not something that we celebrate or it's something that we talk about all the time just because it was so natural, right?
Right.
And, I got drafted first, and then my middle brother took the road. He went to the Arena League,
Okay.
XFL, and then he got called up to the league. And my youngest brother, Dez, was a first-round draft pick as well. So we all kind of took a different path, a different road, but it's one of those things. And now that we look back at it now, because we're older now, and all of us are close to retirement, it's like, okay, that was pretty serious, man. And this really don't happen very often. So it's something that we should celebrate more, but it's kind of part of our personality. And I know for us, being in sports, they tell you not to get too high, not to get too low. So I'm working through that personally to try to get more joy out of just some basic stuff, right? If things happen in life, sometimes I find myself just being blah, blah about it just because this is how I've been trained, or this is how I've kind of been brainwashed, right? But yeah, it's cool that we all went to the league, and my mom and dad, they were pretty much shouting it from the mountaintops. But us as boys and players and being in it at that moment, it was just a part of the daily life or walk, man. And we just made it happen. But our parents was walking around in the half jerseys.
Did you guys ever play against each other?
I played against my middle brother, Isaiah. He got hurt like the first play or something like that, like on kickoff. I told him I was going to drag him, and I don't know if he got scared. But I'm 10 years older than Dad, so I didn't get to play against him. That was my last year when I went to Jacksonville, and I got cut because I was too old, too slow.
Ooh.
But
wait, how old is too old in the NFL?
How old is too old? It just depends on what your body feels like. But I was in my 30s at that point. So, yeah, I was a DB coming off back injuries and all that kind of stuff, giving myself excuses so it don't sound that bad.
Hey, it's all good.
But doing that, man, it was just a part of the thing. But now, just like I said, we look back and we're like, okay, that's pretty solid. We probably need to make a movie about it or something, or do something like that.
Because is that common to have 3 siblings?
I don't think so. I know there's a bunch of guys that have brothers, right? Kelsey brothers just played in the Super Bowl, right? So there are a lot of brothers that play. There's a lot of family members that play, but 3 brothers, I'm not sure. I ain't did the research on that.
Oh, that sounds serious. So let's talk about the world we live in now with Coach Prime. What is he doing, in your opinion, in your experience, what is he doing for college football right now today?
Coach Prime is bringing realness, honesty, and putting the culture on display to where it needs to be displayed, right? And making it okay to be yourself and not have to change exactly who you are. You know, Prime Time, Deion Sanders, of course, he's a man of faith. He's a family man. He has all these things, but he is who he is. He's outspoken. He's, you know, that same guy that showed up to the 40-yard dash and had his gold chains on and the Jerry curl and stuff like that. He has that same.
He didn't take the chains off?
I would hope he didn't. In my mind, that sounds like a better story, right? If he had the chains on. But I don't know. But I'm saying all that to say, though, just that energy, and that's what the world is soaking up right now. Though. So it's making it okay to still be cool and not having to go into a phone booth, change your clothes, put on a 3-piece suit, change your words and how you talk and all this kind of stuff, just to be a head coach. It's not like that for everybody, but he's making it okay to be who you are. Kind of like a Stuart Scott did for Sports Center, coming in with the different lingo and different stuff like that and bringing the culture to the masses. I think that's what Deion Sanders is doing. And he's giving people opportunities. Of course, he did it at Jackson State. And as you can say whatever you want about him and that, but he brought eyes, ears, and money.
College Game Day showed up.
To that organization, that wasn't there before he was there. Now he's going to Colorado, and he's changing the culture there, bringing some more culture and influence and all this stuff. So I think for him, it's really about the opportunities that he's giving the kids, right? That's what I want to believe. I know that you have your personal stuff there. You get paid as a coach, of course. You know, the universities get paid, of course. So it's not just Deion that's winning in this. Everybody he attaches his name to is winning. And I don't think that's a bad look.
What is it like being around a bunch of individuals that are willing to get hit, willing to dive headfirst into whatever situation it may be to receive this ball. How do you prepare? This is going to sound crazy. How do you prepare for the unexpected? You practice all week to play in this game. You don't know what is going to happen in quarters 1 through 4. An injury could happen. Like, you could have the best day of your life, whatever the situation may be. How do you stay level-headed enough to play through all of that, knowing that the bigger purpose isn't just for Trufant, but for the team?
Next week on the Embracing the Journey podcast.
What is it like being drafted? Do people see you as Marcus Trufant? Do people see you as an opportunity? Do people see you as a meal ticket? Do people not care? What was that whole dynamic like?
All right, it was cool to play football and do all this different stuff. I was on TV. I got to go to the Pro Bowl. But to be able to change people's lives, impact people with basic needs, with shelter, with food, with money, it's a big deal, man. So many people struggle. Sometimes we forget